In the trenches, quick evening version. Going over some very strange labs. Put the puzzle together. So this is a man I talked about last week. 53-year-old man came to see me for hypertension. I got blood work on him. What's interesting, his bicarb was 15. And the anion gap 21, and also his alphos was elevated. UA negative, triglycerides negative. I didn't know what to make of it, and I repeated it with similar results. Now, for some reason, his CBC was not gotten. And he told me, somebody told him he had thick blood, so he got his CBC. His hemoglobin was 22.2. Hematocrit 69.7, his white count was over 20,000. Make a long story short, eventually he was diagnosed with P-Vara and he had a positive JAK2 mutation, very high hemoglobin. Now, the issue is, number one, why is the bicarb low? And number two, why was the alphos slightly elevated? It should be noted, his GGTP, which I got in follow-up, was normal. Triglycerides are normal also. Should be noted the man received hydrea and he was phlebotomized, and the alphos and the bicarb all normalized. So what we have is P-Vara and two other things. It's really not intersecting circles, low bicarb and elevated alphos. Now, these corrected what explained this lab. So it increased anion gap, metabolic acidosis, totally asymptomatic. Kidney function was normal, his sugar was normal, he had no ketones, no toxic alcohol. Could have he had a lactic acidosis? And could have it been from P-Vara? And with bad P-Vara, they reported that. Now, an LDH was not drawn on them, but theoretically, the tumor may have caused that. Elevated LDH and a lactic acidosis. This corrected itself. It was not from, you could look at his triglycerides, and if they were elevated, that could have caused a lactic acidosis, theoretically. He wasn't septic. There were no other real reasons for this, and as I mentioned, it was corrected. So I think the P-Vara caused elevated lactate, which caused a low bicarb. Now, the alphos is even trickier. Alphos, you make it liver and bone. And his other liver chemistries are normal. And if you were having any ischemia to his liver or anything like that, transaminases would have been elevated. It should be noted his bilirubin was also normal. And my postulate is this. This is an elevated leukocyte alkaline phosphatase. Now, in the olden days, when I trained and early in my career, we did not have JAK2 mutations. And there were a list of major and minor criteria for P-Vara. One of the minor criteria was an elevated leukocyte alkaline phosphatase. With CML, it was actually a low leukocyte alkaline phosphatase. Now, normally it's run in a separate tube, and if it's elevated, you're not going to see it in the blood. What I'm postulating is that his white count was so high that some of the leukocyte phosphatase seeped into the blood. And I can't swear on this. These are two lab abnormalities that were unusual on presentation, and they got better with treatment. So I'm wondering if he did have a moderate lactic acidosis and elevated alphos secondary to severe polycythemia. Those are my thoughts on these interesting labs. Good evening.